We are trying to get consumer information out to the public so they're aware of how the food is produced, how it gets to the store, not just that they need to know that it comes from the farm to the store and that it just doesn't appear in the store.
On the 5th of February at approximately 4 o'clock in the afternoon, a fire alarm was turned into the Oklahoma City Fire Department on a fire at the residence in the 7500 block of East Britton Road. The fire was started in the garage. 2 cars were totally destroyed, one being a Mercedes, the other a Camaro, as well as parts of the house. Fire damage was estimated at $215,000. One witness, upon driving by the residence, saw a red Ford pickup truck with pipe racks leaving the home and turning west on Britton Road just as the fire started. Arson is a very serious and expensive problem. These firefighters risk their life every day to help you. So if you have any information about this arson or any other serious crime, contact Crimestoppers at 235-7300. All callers will remain anonymous, and you could earn up to a $1,000 reward. For Crimestoppers, thank you. I'm Detective Ken Smith.
And I think it's time that we rise up to the occasion and we tell the federal government that we're tired of them running over our rights, that we're not going to have them tell us what to do in every case. And this is a particular case of point where I think we ought to put our backs to the wall and say, federal government, you're wrong.
Really, this airbag mandate plays no part at all in my concern for use of seat belts or the necessity of this particular bill. There are very real reasons that have to do with the 50 to 60% of lives that would be saved.
An 8% salary increase. We're talking about
the state superintendent's office to ask what classroom meant.
We don't know where we are until those dollars become real and available to us. But I, for one, am not going to consider any type of increases whatsoever unless I have a program to vote for. And for me, education is the key.
going to go up to the 4th floor now.
State law requires each newly impaneled grand jury to inspect every jail in the county before investigating other matters. In Oklahoma County, that means taking a peek at 13 separate facilities. Following an inspection 4 months ago, a previous grand jury called the Oklahoma City jail filthy. The previous panel recommended that Oklahoma City begin a municipal jail housekeeping program. The county's new grand jury will form its own opinions about the status of local prisoners.
I believe the grand jury of the last did not look at the color of the jail itself, which was real light blue, which was what you might say a flat base paint, and they didn't look at that color, which was real susceptible to dirt or fingerprints. And so we decided we'll just change the color of our jail entirely. That's why it's the color it is today. We got away from that color.
It may be some time before we find out the grand jury's assessment of the Oklahoma City jail or the county's other 12 lockups. The panel will not issue its jail report until after it completes its investigation of the State Welfare Department, the Edmond Police Department, and any other matter it decides to look into. Scott Wallace, News 4 at the Oklahoma City Jail.
This state has a deep interest in the safety of all, equipped with safety. They're not speaking or addressing any specific issue. They just think that it's something that has the attention of the people of the state of Oklahoma, that it needs to be looked at, but it needed to be looked at more in depth. This is a response to the Reform Commission's recommendation.
You have participated in such an exciting time.
Right now it's lots of rest, getting familiar with taking my medicine so I can do it by memory, and just enjoying life to the fullest and letting Jody's heart just giggle and be happy and enjoy just that part.
What could be more genocidal than a youth assistance? They didn't tell her that the council that she had witnessed something, but she was frightened to
20 minutes and the police still didn't show up. So
we'll ask your indulgence in letting us read. In terms of the traditional role of law enforcement, again, which is reported. Police crimes can and they must be stopped. It is from our experience and study that we can state without hesitation that the only way to stop police crimes is to put citizens in control of the police.
This bill will change some things. It will formalize for our citizens a process for them to follow, and for doctors to follow, and for families to follow when each of us face our moment of death.
Years and older taking the course to start.
Maybe you've addressed
if they can take some measures to
help them learn to drive more.
The premiums of all of these young people out here,
Pardon me?
who would pay for that? The senior, the person
Right
over
now, there are
55, or the state?
Right now, it's being done through.
Because I don't want to lie there, you know, with all these tubes in your nose and all like that they do so often to people who are not able to get well at all. And so I think that's real wonderful that we have this bill passed.
RSTN, B-U-R-T-L.
Early indications show there may be a record turnout in Edmond today, and the mayor's race is the reason why. At this polling place, officials say the turnout may double that of the primary. The race between incumbent Carl Rearman and Yvonne Nichols has divided the city, and the campaign has been marked on both sides by charges, innuendo, and what some call good old-fashioned mudslinging, and it was still going on today.
Snellings.
Even as last-minute campaigning was going on all over the city, it was learned there were 2 incidents last night in which Rearman campaign workers allegedly were tearing down Nichols' signs. One car, reportedly carrying past and present city officials, was stopped by police and then released without charges. And then later last night, another carload of Rearman campaigners was stopped. The driver, a former city official, was cited for transporting an open container. Rearman officials admit he had Nichols' campaign signs in the car at the time. But this morning, the charges against the driver were dropped. The city attorney told News 4 he had not broken the law.
And I heard about it by someone calling me.
Today, Rearman charged his signs had been destroyed last night, too. But while denying any knowledge of the incident involving his workers, he nonetheless called it regrettable.
I think this incident is regrettable. I think it was unnecessary, and I think it points out that, quite frankly, the heated type of campaigning that's been going on by supporters of both sides.
Meanwhile, Nichols said what most concerned her about last night's sign incidents was that city officials were allegedly involved.
My supporters have reported to me that their signs have been stolen out of their yards, that people have trespassed on their private property, but I think that this is going to be true in any campaign. The thing that is so disheartening to me is that you have city officials, city administrators, who are actively participating.
The campaign will be over in just a few hours, but the race has become so bitter on both sides that even the candidates agree that no matter who wins tonight, the wounds left behind will take a long time to heal. Jeff Fowler, News 4, Edmond.
Plus the 3 days of the show. And so they're going to be spending quite a bit of money here in the city, and it's going to be just spent off from that. You've got other factors. There's people coming in from all across the country to attend. We already know that. We've already got reservations on them.
it's a hope to get some creative thinking going about the racetrack. We're satisfied that the Racing Commission will probably only put one major racetrack in Oklahoma. All of the studies indicate that Oklahoma City is the place for that racetrack to go.
Prosecutors believe these pictures taken by a hidden robbery camera convinced a jury that Henry Wesley Smith murdered a South Oklahoma City U-Totem store clerk last Father's Day. It took the jury just 90 minutes to decide that Smith was guilty of murder. After 3 more hours of deliberation, the jury decided on the convicted killer's punishment.
We, the jury, impaneled and sworn in the above entitled cause, do upon our oaths, having heretofore found the defendant, Henry Wesley Smith, guilty of murder in the first degree, fix his punishment at death.
Smith showed no emotion over his death sentence. His family could not hide their feelings as easily. The family was feeling a loss felt by another mother 10 months ago.
I think he got what he deserved. And I really think that the district attorney done a good job. And I think anybody else that would have this happen to them would have thought the same way.
The newly convicted killer left the courtroom saying he still could not understand the murder which would send him to Oklahoma's death row.
How do you feel about what you did to Gary Pallone?
It was unreal. It was like I wasn't even there. It's like it was all a dream. Like I was standing watching myself.
What was going through your mind during the murder?
Nothing.
Smith's death sentence will be automatically appealed. Scott Wallace, News 4 at the Oklahoma County Courthouse.
9:37, Roger Carey, KZBS at 9:50 all across America this morning. Many radio stations playing the song We Are the World, which, by the way, is now the #1 song in America. So 9:50, We Are the World, KZBS.
Top 40, country western, and even the easy listening radio stations switched to a universal format this morning. At 9:50 Central Time, hundreds of radio stations across America played the song We Are the World to focus attention on the famine in Ethiopia on this Good Friday.
And as a matter of fact, this is only the second time in the history of Muzak that they're playing a song wherever Muzak plays with words in it. So let's go.
There comes a time when we heed a certain call, when the world must come together as one.
This idea was started by stations in Georgia and Utah. The disc jockeys felt that by having so many stations playing the song at one time, they could make people understand the severity of the hunger problem. This song, recorded by 46 of the country's top music stars, has already sold more than 1 million copies, and the proceeds are on the way to Africa. Kurt Autry, News 4.
I don't think other institutions should play a divisive force in this effort, because Oklahoma is a small state and the number of population is small, and I think one center for transplantation and implantation is all that is needed.
3 joint interim meetings, that the Leadership Fleet Management Division within the Office of Public Affairs to benefits for the use of, excuse me, that's the wrong word, personal service reform measures that we've agreed on. We will fast track them. We hope to.
So this day is important because we have an agreement now between the governor, Senator Randall and his leadership team, and the House and our leadership team, that these measures will be enacted into law.
It's been 4 months since a killer robbed the Geronimo Bank, killed 4 people, and wounded 3 others. A Lawton judge has ordered J. Wesley Neal and Robert Grady Johnson to stand trial next month for the crimes. However, attorneys for Neal and Johnson have filed more than 24 legal requests on behalf of their clients. One of the most important issues the trial judge must decide is whether the murder hearing should be moved away from the Comanche County Courthouse in Lawton. J. Neal's attorney claims her client cannot get a fair trial in Lawton because prospective jurors have been exposed to massive amounts of pretrial publicity. Defense attorneys have also asked for the state to pay for psychiatric examinations of the accused killers to determine if they were sane when the crimes were committed, special investigators to examine the state's evidence against the pair, and separate trials for Neal and Johnson. In addition, Robert Johnson's attorney wants a doctor to determine if his client is mentally competent to stand trial. District Judge Jack Brock is expected to rule quickly on the defense motions. Neal and Johnson are scheduled to stand trial for the Geronimo Bank massacre May 13th. Scott Wallace, News 4.
You know, it seems that many wrong ideas have been going out throughout the world because of films made by Hollywood, which were sometimes exaggerated. So maybe if I can correct those views, I will be glad to do so.
Months ago, Afton Gilley was stopped by the village police for speeding. The officer also cited Gilley for not having a car inspection sticker, insurance verification card, or state driver's license. When the police officer tried to arrest the driver for the traffic tickets, Gilley reportedly handcuffed himself to his car's steering wheel and locked the doors. The district attorney added resisting arrest to the traffic charges. Now an Oklahoma County Court jury must decide if Gilley violated the law or if the police violated his constitutional rights.
I contend that I have the right to go to my grandmother's house or to my mother's house or to the store, wherever I want to, as a constitutional right, and to do so by the ordinary means of transportation of that day and using the modern conveyances of the day, which is what I was doing as a matter of right. And I have that right.
The jury must decide if the Constitution protects the ticket protester. If convicted of all 5 charges, Gilley could face several fines and up to a year in the county jail. Scott Wallace, News 4 at the Oklahoma County Courthouse.
State employment officials say the summer job market for teens is only fair, not much better than in years past. and there will be a lot of competition for the jobs there are. One of the most fertile areas has been in service-oriented jobs, like fast food restaurants. And while there are still expected to be openings here, employment officials say some of them have already been filled by older people going back into the workplace. And so finding jobs like this may take more effort than before.
Persistency, not being discouraged is a key with it. And above all, when we talk to kids about employment, we want to make sure that our office, we certainly encourage them to come by our office because we do list a significant number of jobs through our agency, approaching 40,000 a year in the youth category.
Foreman says there are a number of agencies in the city that offer job placement or training for young people during the summer months. But even with that, there are not enough jobs to go around. In the summer, construction activity picks up, and there are expected to be some openings for teens as laborers. One area Foreman does not expect to yield many jobs is manufacturing. He says many plants are currently laying people off, and therefore the unemployed are actively looking for any openings there that come up. Jeff Fowler, News 4. The Oklahoma Tax Commission got a large present this morning, 200,000 tax returns, basketfuls running down the hall. But that's not the worst of it. Tomorrow morning, they could have 300,000 more. If you waited until the last minute to file, you are not alone. The Tax Commission will get as many returns this week as they received in the preceding 4 months. But it's nothing new, as they've come to learn here. Taxpayers love to procrastinate. Nevertheless, it brings a crush of returns flooding in all at the same time. There are 65 people working a combined 17 hours a day, routing tons of paperwork, processing millions in checks, and knowing the worst is yet to come.
Well, the ones that are paying are waiting till that last day to pay. I can't explain the refunds that are coming in late. That I don't understand. This has been a different tax year. The refunds haven't been coming in as much as we thought they would, but we're getting them. They're going to be here by tomorrow.
In years past, some taxpayers have gone way beyond the April 15th deadline in paying their state taxes. Some haven't filed at all, figuring they probably wouldn't get caught. But Tax Commission officials say they have beefed up enforcement and warn they will not have a tax amnesty program as they did last year. Jeff Fowler, News 4 at the Oklahoma Tax Commission.
Introduction, Mr. Speaker.
You recognize.
Thank you.
Section. None heard. Declare the vote.
91 aye, 1 nay.
So please go to your telephone and let us know that you are out there and that you do care about the programming.
April 30th, vote yes. A modern liquor law allows sale of liquor by the drink. April 30th, we'll vote to either allow sale of liquor by the drink or mandate liquor by the...
I am not concerned about the no votes. I'm concerned about the no shows. And the way that we could really lose this election is if the people who support it don't take the extra effort to get out and cast their vote the way they need to make Oklahoma City the convention center that it could be with a yes vote.